What is going on, dudes? This is VaporTheGamer, and welcome back to another episode of Vapor Reacts. Man, I had so much freaking planned today, but I gotta leave almost directly after this video goes up. It's unfortunate. I had Beat Saber stuff I wanted to do today, being that the brand new pack came out, the Panic at the Disco music pack on Beat Saber, just released today. I was gonna check it out and try some of them songs out. They look pretty darn cool, but we're gonna have to save that for tomorrow. And also, I got some cool stuff in the mail that I want to share to you guys during that video. So we have... yeah. Another Game Theory FNAF timeline video from the Game Theorists to react to today. This just got uploaded yesterday. It's number 2 on the trending gaming list. That's insane. So this is called FNAF Just Got a Reboot. And this has to do with FNAF VR. Apparently, all these teasers and stuff and all of the timelines that we've been told about, theoretically, are not true, because it's just a theory. Again, good old MatPat here thinks that FNAF VR is the real timeline and not even a part of the other timeline. I don't know. Let's check it out. Everything will be linked in the description down below so you can check this all out for yourself, okay? Along with the Game Theorists channel. If you haven't subscribed, why are you even here? Go to his channel right now and subscribe. Put the notifications on. Sorry, I'm just in a weird mood today. So I'm just gonna click play on this bad boy. It's a long one. And 3, 2, 1, boom.
Ready to have your mind blown by FNAF yet again? Let's do a little trick, shall we? I'm in the process of currently downloading and installing brand new copies of each and every one of the FNAF games, so you all know that we're working with a blank slate here. But the games that we're specifically interested in are FNAF World and Ultimate Custom Night. The free ones. Huzzah for not having to buy these games for literally like the 4th time. Let me just open up both of these on the computer to show you that we are working with absolutely clean and fresh copies of both these games. Open up FNAF World. The first time that we open this, we should get that cutscene of the 2 yellow beady eyes telling us that something has happened out in the world. There it is. We're just gonna wait here a second while that dramatically plays. We hit start, and you can see here, literally nothing on screen, right? We have slots 1, 2, and 3, all empty.
What are you going on with this? Where are you going with this, boy?
Bottom. And that's the important point here, right? Each time you beat the game, you get a different trophy along the bottom based on what ending you got. So notice 0 trophies, 0 endings, 0 gameplay. Okay, so we're gonna X out of that as well. Fantastic. Hopping on over to Ultimate Custom Night, there is no high scores unlocked. We have no power-ups that have been given to us. Our office is the default office. Nothing, right? No creepy cutscenes of Toy Chica in her skimpy school uniform. Nothing. We are clean to go. Nada. Now, let me set the scene for you, right?
Yeah,
if you think back to the release of Ultimate Custom Night, we were all really excited to see who would be included in this mega list of who's who in the FNAF universe. This big final game to celebrate the ending of the series, burning things to the ground at the end of FNAF 6. Some of the inclusions were obvious, right? Like the 70+ versions of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Springtrap, Golden Freddy, and the Puppet, right? They're in practically every game. They're super important to the lore of the games. No big surprises there. But then, when the roster kept expanding, you got to some weird inclusions,
What is that one Bonnie in the center? Did anyone notice that? Like Barney.
Why? El Chip, which is basically just a glorified reference to like one of his failed games before Five Nights at Freddy's. Strange, sapient pile of garbage over here. Like, not people that you would immediately think of as being included in the like must-have list of characters in this franchise. But of them all, there was one inclusion that felt the strangest of all to me. This one right here. Old Man Consequences from FNAF World. A character who, if you're not super familiar with that particular game, is your punishment for going too deep into the code of the game. You see, FNAF World is a video game that's aware that it's a game, right? And throughout the adventure, you repeatedly have to dive into these glitches to unlock new parts of the world. But you're repeatedly warned against going more than 3 layers deep into those glitches, otherwise you're gonna be trapped there forever. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happens if you don't heed the warnings. You wind up at Old Man Consequences Lake, trapped. What makes it so weird to see him here, though, in Ultimate Custom Night, is that FNAF World is a game that Scott has largely disowned. He's embarrassed of it, and it's a game that's ultimately been dismissed by the fan base as non-canon in part because of those reasons, but also in part because it seems more closely tied to the book lore than it is to the game lore. And yet, here he is. Old Man Consequences in Ultimate Custom Night, alongside characters that are definitely canonical in a game that is also canonical, right? It has the canonical ending of William Afton suffering eternal torment at the hands of Golden Freddy. It's almost like Scott Cawthon is telling us that Old Man Consequences is implicitly canonical. He's canonical by association. So, why do I bring all this up? Well,
I'm still lost,
egg
man.
In Custom Night that you've probably seen back when people were playing that game, right? You set Old Man Consequences to a difficulty level of 1, and you start your night. Gonna turn off the fan, and here we sit. There's no one here to attack us outside of Old Man Consequences, so hopefully he shows up. Oh, and here's Dee Dee, who has, by proxy of doing this, ruined our opportunity to unlock this Easter egg, so we're going to restart. Please Alt for this game. We're gonna try again.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Thank you. Oh, there is.
What is happening
Boom.
right now?
Good. So now, here we go, right? We're falling, quote unquote, falling through the source code of the game. We wind up here. This is Old Man Consequences Lake, right? You may have seen this Easter egg during people's gameplays. But here we go, we go to Old Man Consequences over here, and he gives us his line, come and sit with me a while, leave the demon to his demons, rest your soul, there's nothing else. We concluded
I did a voice line for that.
Theories about Ultimate Custom Night,
that exact line.
This is Old Man Consequences talking to the vengeful spirit that exists inside Golden Freddy, trying to tell him, hey dude, chill out, move on with your afterlife. Just let William Afton suffer on his own. Because if you listen to the audio that's playing in the background of this scene, you can definitely hear him suffering. Well, it's either his tormented screams or, you know, Scott Cawthon shouting through a fan. Now, most people seeing this Easter egg would be like, well, now what do I do? There's nothing else. I guess I gotta restart the game. Alt F4. And already this would be a really cool, really elaborate Easter egg. However, for those of us who have played through and know FNAF World better than we probably should, we know that there is one final thing that you can do in this scene, right? You can move on over to the top of the lake and you can drown yourself. Now, in that game, when you did this, it would actually reveal a secret ending that is completely hidden from that game's texture files. It shows a person standing alongside two smaller figures in front of this flashing TV screen. It's a parent and their two kids, or at least
is this
that's
supposed to be
as much as I can
Scott
make it, right?
and his two
sure
kids,
enough,
beta testers?
You can actually do the same thing here in Ultimate Custom Night, going into the lake and drowning yourself. Except here, it ultimately crashes the game. I'm going deep into the lake. Uh-oh, I'm trapped in the water. Oh no! It's like quicksand. It's not so much a lake as it is quicksand, but here we go. We're going down into the lake, deeper, 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 and it crashes the game, right? We're back to the home screen. No hidden ending or Easter egg there. But here's where things get crazy. Instead of me booting up Ultimate Custom Night again, we're gonna hop back over to that brand new, fresh, clean copy of FNAF World that I showed you earlier. Here we go, FNAF World. We have not played this game whatsoever, and we hit start. Wouldn't you know it? Without playing a second of this game, look what suddenly appeared on our menu screen. A trophy that you unlock in FNAF World by visiting Old Man Consequences Lake. In other words, these two games, but more importantly, in the lore of this franchise, these two worlds are connected. Somehow.
Wow.
But what does all this mean?
Yeah.
That, my friends, is our episode for today.
Yes! That's sick! That intro was a little, like, much. I had no idea what was going on at first, but you kind of got me interested now. You proved something. That wasn't like a theory. That actually happened. Wow, man.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, channel where it's always April considering the number of Easter egg hunts we go on. So that connection between FNAF World and Ultimate Custom Night was originally discovered by Reddit user Roxas Lucario, and it ultimately hinges on an info file that collects variable information from across the various games. For instance, the first time you start up FNAF World, you're presented with an opening cutscene.
Something went very wrong. That's why I'm here. I will put you back together.
Great, awesome. Go to the info page after seeing that creepy opening cutscene, and suddenly the trigger first is activated, presumably telling the game that you've seen that scene once before, so for all subsequent playthroughs, you don't have to see it again. That's how these sorts of variables work. But what's weird, though, is that the trigger for this drowned ending and unlocking the trophy is titled Beat Game 4, which might just mean it's the 4th ending of FNAF World, fine, but why then would Scott use that exact same variable name in Ultimate Custom Night? It's not like there's multiple endings in that game, and it's not like Ultimate Custom Night is the 4th game in the franchise. Him using that exact same variable name suggests that the connection between the two was very much intentional, and that, my friends, is just scratching the surface. Because this
I'm
small,
so interested,
very,
legit.
very important Easter egg starts laying the groundwork for where this series is ultimately headed moving forward. Where FNAF VR clearly left off, and where the new FNAF AR game, Special Delivery, releasing this October, is taking us next. Oh yeah, didn't you know? There's a new FNAF AR game and it's right around the corner. There's a trailer for it and everything. Because my torment is year-round and unceasing. Looks like we're gonna end up playing hide and seek with a bunch of animatronics, but more on that one in a minute. FNAF World was a game that was largely ignored by us theorists because, well, look at it.
You won't get tired of my voice, will you?
I'm not sure what that
But in all seriousness, for all the memes this franchise has, it's never been particularly meta. The lore, on the whole, was its own self-contained story within this fictional universe. The only times things got truly meta was in FNAF World, which sure helped us to predict the appearance of Baby and Henry into the mainline games, but it was also the game where Scott Cawthon literally appears as the final boss, complaining about how sick he was of pumping out new games for our insatiable appetite for animatronic death. Scott, you're our mama bird, my friend. Puke that sweet, sweet lore down into my gullet. But you can see why most of us would take this as a joke, right? Scott isn't a character in the FNAF universe, so it has to be just another game for the lols. Except now, Scott is a character in the games. As of FNAF VR, it's revealed to us that Scott, since the beginning, has played a critical role in the lore of the FNAF universe.
We know that Fazbear Entertainment has developed something of a bad reputation over the last few decades, and while it's true that some stories associated with our name were loosely based on actual events, the majority of them were total fabrications from the mind of a complete lunatic. Lawsuits pending.
And if that wasn't explicit enough, the secret tapes hidden throughout the game make it even clearer.
They lied to us. They lied to all of us. They told us that the whole point of this VR game was to undo the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer who supposedly made up a bunch of crazy stories that tarnished the brand.
Don't have to tell me twice, that rogue indie developer is obviously Scott. That's just where it begins, because FNAF World was trying to tell us something else about where this franchise was headed. Video games crossing into the real world and vice versa. You see, FNAF World is a lot of things. A lot of things. But its main plot revolves around the aftermath of FNAF 4. We're told when we first boot up the game that something has happened out there in the real world, and it's having an effect in here, the sanctuary, the world of this particular game. From there, the rest of the game features a main quest that's completely hidden. You could go through this entire game and never come across the actual real plot of this thing. The only way that you would know about this is by accidentally lingering on the first dialogue boxes of the game, which in turn releases glitched 8-bit Fredbear. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who are you gonna call? Glitched 8-bit Fredbear. This, in turn, unlocks separate missions to find clocks, and it's here that we find our first instance of video game to real-life crossover. You see, each clock is a minigame that connects back to FNAF 3, and all the individual steps necessary to unlock the Happiest Day cutscene. That game's good and canonical ending. If you think way back to that game, it always bothered me that punching random blocks on a wall or double-clicking a random poster in your real-life security office was somehow allowing us to put the spirits of the dead children to rest. But FNAF World gave us an explanation even though we ignored it back at the time. FNAF World, the game world, or more accurately, the spirits that are trapped existing in that game's code, were able to push out and affect changes IRL through those post-clock minigames. That's how you get these kind of video gamey moments in what is otherwise a realistic, albeit haunted setting. Now, why is any of this important? Why are we talking about it now so many years after these games were first released? Well, because it's only starting to matter now. It's exactly what we saw happen at the end of FNAF VR Help Wanted. That game established sentient code that was looking to escape from its video game prison.
It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. Looked pretty old. Somehow, though, there was usable code on some of it. It seemed to take hold by itself. Things started changing.
What I'm saying here is that in the official lore of this series, official lore that is apparently dating back further than we would have expected, computer code is somehow able to store the minds or spirits or whatever of these characters and eventually rebirth them out into the real world if the right steps are taken. See also Petscop. And in FNAF VR, we see an instance of this happening. William Afton, who was trapped in the circuit boards, was released into the code of this new game, Help Wanted, where he then took the form of Glitch Trap until finally, through us playing the game and collecting the tapes and putting the pieces back together, was able to escape again. But this time, he was able to escape not just from circuit boards, but out into the real world. All of it, all of this goes back to the story that FNAF World was trying to tell us years ago. The story that we all didn't take seriously because the final boss was literally an impervious rainbow.
Are you kidding me?
Come on!
What the? What?
I'm only just realizing it now, but Help Wanted is actually a cute and really brilliant name. I mean, we all thought it was help in terms of like a want ad, right? Help as a video game tester, which is the core premise of the game, but it's also Help Wanted. Glitch Trap wanted, heck, he needed our help in order to escape, so well done, Scott, good name. Just like Pizzeria Simulator riffs on the idea of simulator games, but really it's an empty box waiting as a trap to catch the final animatronics and burn them alive, or how Sister Location is all about a separate but related robotics business, but also about a key character's sister, maybe, question mark. Well done, Scott, well done. Slow clap. Now, you might be thinking, wow, malicious code, people trapped in video games? This sounds nothing like the original story that started off this whole franchise.
Because it's the real
yeah, that's entirely the point. The old story of Five Nights at Freddy's was, at least in part, a complete lie.
They lied to us. They told us that the whole point of this VR game was to undo the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer. But that's not true at all. Fazbear Entertainment hired the game developer. Those indie games were designed to conceal and make light of what happened. This isn't just an attempt to rebrand. It's an elaborate cover-up.
Let me rephrase what we just heard. Scott is one of the bad guys. Based on the lore in Help Wanted, he was hired on by Fazbear Entertainment to create the FNAF games, give us the spooky ghost stories that exist within them, and in turn distract us from the real truth. Distract us away from what Fazbear's goals really were. He was lying to us. If FNAF VR's tapes are to be believed, pretty much everything we know from the first 3, at least, but maybe even 4, 5, heck 6 games could all be thrown out as complete fabrications created by Scott Cawthon for the sole reason because he was paid off by Fazbear Entertainment. This thing, Glitch Trap, might not even be a recreation of someone named William Afton. Heck, William Afton might not even exist. Though, to be honest, he probably does since he's mentioned by name at the beginning of FNAF Sister Location, and FNAF VR seems to replicate his original crimes pretty darn closely. So I'm gonna assume that some of that is actually true.
It's kind of a
proof. The short here is that FNAF VR, in making Scott part of the Fazbear cover-up, is the franchise's way of rebooting the story for the next generation, telling us that with FNAF VR, we're starting an entirely new lore. In disowning Scott's story as lies, it's explicitly telling us that everything we've known up to this point is wrong. It's a distraction. Instead, the real story, the story that's going to be told to us via the next generation of Five Nights at Freddy's games, is carrying forward the core themes and ideas that were first introduced to us back in FNAF World. A story of video games, code, all coming to life and crossing over into the real world. And funny enough, if we look back to FNAF World, it was
crazy
trying to
foreshadowing.
tell us the truth about this theme the entire time. As 8-Bit Glitch Bear tells us in that game, don't be deceived by the one pulling the strings. It's why Scott is technically the final boss of the game, but the true ending, the clock ending that unlocks the key Easter eggs from FNAF 3, it has nothing to do with him at all. It's entirely disconnected from why Scott is there. Again, the indie developer known as Scott Cawthon within the FNAF lore is trying to distract us away from the truth of what we should be doing in these games. And if you think I'm reading too much into this, think again. Scott is trying to clue us back into the importance of FNAF World. As many of you know, Scott has his website, scottgames.com, where there's always some new teaser image and stuff hidden in the source code. And on there right now is a really cool teaser for the next FNAF game coming out in 2020.
The Stranger
Clearly,
Things
by looking at it, it's a FNAF Stranger Things.
Yeah!
Considering the
So true, dude.
1980s era neon-themed mall straight
Yeah.
out of season 3 of that
I'm
show.
glad
But
I'm not the only
what's a
one.
little less well known though is Scott's second site, FNAFworld.com, which has been dormant for a really long time. Dormant, at least until a month ago. You see, it was updated to have a big old number 58 smack dab in the middle of it. And when you brighten things
Brighten it up, there's
because
quotes.
You always brighten
You
things
have
up
to.
when you're given something by
Come
Scott
on.
Cawthon, you see a bunch of funny reviews appear for whatever this new game is going to end up being. Now, the number 58 might seem like it's completely random, right? A weird, mysterious number, but it's actually not.
FNAF
It
World.
all goes back
Minigame,
to,
right?
you guessed it, FNAF World. In that game, there's a playable demo for the latest unreleased FNAF game, Freddy in Space.
FNAF 57.
That game's number, installment number
There you go.
57.
Anyone could have thought of that.
Next project, or at
I guess
least
he has to
one of his
outline it.
next projects coming out in a few months, is going to be another wacky minigame with lore connections potentially hidden inside of it. In fact, if FNAF 57 Freddy in Space is to be believed, as you play through it in FNAF World, the next installment is going to be titled Poopits in Space, which sounds completely dumb, but you saw those hidden reviews. They were not super positive about whatever FNAF 58 is shaping up to be.
Oh, I
And
hope
heck,
it's
you don't even
not.
have to take it from me.
Oh,
It is coming
gosh.
straight from Scott's own disembodied head floating in a jar from
Oh
that
my
game.
gosh,
Like
I
said,
remember
FNAF
that
World is
game.
Weird. And we
Yeah.
are still not done. The idea of games and code, digital horrors crossing over into the real world is becoming more explicit in his other new game that he's working on. The one that we know is releasing this October. FNAF Special Delivery, an augmented reality title that, based on the trailer and the title, will have animatronics being dropped off into your house. Sure, the idea of using your phone to see the animatronics roaming around your home might just seem like a fun, quirky new way to play these sorts of games,
Maybe
but
it's
from a
kind of-
lore standpoint,
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if what this is actually doing is forwarding the core themes of the new direction for the story of these games. Deadly characters starting off as
Coming
harmless
to
pieces
life,
of
but
code
trying
and then
to escape.
escaping out into the real world
Yeah.
through your device. It's happened with
Woo.
Glitch Trap. By the nature of augmented reality,
I feel like
it's
we're gonna find
literally
Glitch Trap in
happening
these games.
again in this game. Any way you slice it, the lines between reality and fiction are getting blurry.
What's with the
and it's
Stranger
Scott,
Things theme in the
FNAF
back?
World of all things, that are serving as the bridge linking those two worlds. It all started coming to a head
Damn,
with FNAF
dude.
VR, but starting this October, don't be surprised if this franchise, as we know it, really starts to change. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
That
Can you
was-
put up the subscribe
wow,
button so
we've
you
been
can
watching
click
this
and
for
enjoy
that
the
long?
12 million other loyal theorists out there just like you.
Why are you
But
not
can't click
subscribed?
it
Come
and
on.
Finish writing a comment about your favorite animatronic within 5 seconds of me counting. 5.
I really can't.
4,
No, stop.
3,
Stop.
2.
Stop it,
And
Matt.
If you're itching to see more
Shut up.
reality-bending storytelling like in FNAF World, well then check out our ongoing analysis of Petscop, the online horror video game web series. The finale of this mystery just aired. I'm actually working on my analysis of it right now, and you can be all caught up for when those
Cool.
final episodes
Petscop,
air.
eh?
Oh, I forgot to say one, didn't I? Look, you did it! Congratulations! Now my work is complete. I fade away into the darkness for yet another week. I'll see you next time.
Yet
for
another week.
Kindergarten.
Okay. Never played it. Can't say much about it. But we're done here. Nice. Okay, that was it. I don't know why I'm whispering. Guys. I mean... Shut up. I really never thought about FNAF World being a part of the lore and the timeline itself, because I thought it was just a fun game just for, you know, kids and stuff like that to enjoy. But if you really think about it, that all made a lot of sense. And that thing at the beginning with FNAF World Old Man Consequences with FNAF Ultimate Custom Night Old Man Consequences, and that being linked together in that way, seeing it with my own eyes, that was insane. I never thought that that would be like a thing, and that would mean that FNAF World has been teasing FNAF VR and this theory on how Glitchtrap made his way out of the games, and this whole time he's just been trying to escape, and now we're, you know, cutting off the old timeline, basically, if that's the case, and starting completely fresh. And that also FNAF AR could also be a hint to animatronics trying to escape from the games and stuff, and now you have the FNAF AR where it literally will be in your room. It could have, you know, animatronics in this freaking room right now. I can smell Mary. She stinks. All in all, I am super excited to see where FNAF AR takes us, and if there's going to be more hints and stuff in the next FNAF World game that Scott's making, you know, 58, I'm assuming that, you know, is just a hint towards FNAF World 2 or Update 3, whatever it is. I'm so excited for FNAF AR to be coming out this month. I'm going to be playing all of it on this channel, and I hope you guys will watch me play it. That was yet another game theory done by MatPat, the Game Theorists, called FNAF Just Got a Reboot, okay? And, dude, that was something. It's crazy on all the stuff that he comes up with, and he literally dives deep and, you know, tries to figure everything out and theorize it as best as possible. But dudes, that was really cool at the beginning, and it got me so intrigued for the rest of the video, and oh my gosh, I might actually have to rewatch that and see if I can find some more things. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, okay? And everything will be in link in the description down below so you can check this all out for yourself, along with the Game Theorists channel. Once again, please go subscribe. There's over 12 million of them. Freaking do it! And also check out the rest of his FNAF game theories. So that is all I have for today, guys. I have to head out literally in like an hour or so. I'll see you tomorrow. So like it if you enjoyed, subscribe to my videos, and I'll see you in the next one. So bye!